Liverpool are in pursuit of the £101 million Spanish star. Another day, another story linking Liverpool with another midfielder. This time, the player in the limelight is Spanish international Marcos Llorente. Before the season started, the Reds were one of the favourites to win the Premier League. But after 3 games, they look extremely weak. Spanish sources claim that Klopp is not happy with the lack of big signings this summer, and action will be taken towards the last days of the transfer window. Recent news claims that Liverpool will make a move in the last days of the window to sign Llorente, who may leave Wanda Metropolitano. However, if we look at other sources recently, there are claims to the contrary. Weekend News reported that Atletico Madrid will not consider offers for key players this summer. However, this may of course change if the players' contract release fees are paid. Last week, AS claimed Colchoneros turned down €130 million for Felix and €40 million each for Cunha, Morata and Llorente. The 27-year-old star has a £101 million release clause in his contract. Llorente didn't get a fair chance at Real Madrid. After joining the Rojiblancos, he initially started on the bench. However, things changed when the midfielder threw a boost to kick Liverpool out of the Champions League in the 2019-2020 season. In the 2020-2021 season, the 16-caps La Roja star played mainly in the centre, contributing directly to 23 goals with 12 goals and 11 assists to help Atletico win the La Liga title. Surprisingly, Simeone moved him to the right side of the field last season and failed to score a single goal. The fact that there will be no negotiations for Llorente and that the release clause is £101 million is a ridiculous amount indeed. Do you think Liverpool should pay the price? Jose Enrique urged Liverpool to sign Frenkie de Jong to solve their midfield woes. Jose Enrique has urged Liverpool boss Jürgen Klopp to sign Barcelona midfielder Frenkie de Jong before the transfer window closes next week. The Dutch national player has been at odds with his club for a while. Manchester United are working hard to sign him this summer. It is even reported that de Jong was told that he had to leave the team due to Barcelona's economic problems. But the 25-year-old actor has absolutely nothing to do with joining Erik ten Hag's side. This could open the door for other clubs to make a move for de Jong this summer, and Enrique believes Liverpool should initiate a bid to sign him immediately. Liverpool started this season with a terrible performance. If anyone of the summer had said that the Reds would not be able to win in the first 3 games of the season, we would certainly have laughed. But that's exactly what happened, and Liverpool got 2 draws and 1 loss in their first 3 Premier League games, where they performed poorly as a game. Many believe that the biggest reason Liverpool looked so bad is because of their midfield. The lack of quality options in the middle of the park has always been a problem for the Reds, but now it's really hurting them. The match against Manchester United on Monday really exposed Liverpool's midfield, and they need to do something about it before the window closes. Enrique has a perfect solution. Addressing rumours that Manchester United have given up on de Jong, the Spaniard said, "He will be an excellent midfielder for us. Let's move on for him LFC." Barcelona signed de Jong from Ajax for £65 million in 2019. The Dutch international has made more than 140 appearances for the club in the last 3 years and has been a great player for the Catalans. Unfortunately, de Jong is no longer wanted at Camp Nou. The Spanish giants are desperate to get rid of him this summer, so Manchester United tried hard to sign him. De Jong didn't want to move to Old Trafford, but Liverpool's interest could easily have turned his head. The Reds are run by one of the best clubs in the world and one of the best managers on the planet, despite what's happened in the last 3 weeks. With their midfield looking really weak right now, a move would make a lot of sense for de Jong. However, it is not yet clear whether Klopp will give it a shot in the coming days. Liverpool could meet the overlooked transfer need with a quick £25 million player endorsed by Sadio Mane. Right now all the focus is on Liverpool's midfield. This is understandable, underscoring that the Reds' apparent depth is misleading, with a string of injuries and poor individual performances increasing the need to upgrade. But could there be other holes in the Liverpool squad? Maybe they are less important, but they can still cause problems throughout the season. One potential area of concern is the front line, with Sadio Mane, Divock Origi and Takumi Minamino being sold and only one new player arriving. At Old Trafford on Monday, the Liverpool bench was almost without players to make a move. Only the Fabio Carvalho move was effective as a midfielder rather than a forward. Of course, Nunez was suspended and Diogo Jota was injured, but he still has a very vicious offensive line. Nunez seemed to be in good shape with the centre-forward where Jota and Roberto Firmino are ready, but lack a left winger similar to Luis Diaz. Jota can play there, but while it's almost all about scoring goals, Diaz often produces performances that shine without finding the net. The bigger concern, though, is perhaps the right wing. If Liverpool need to replace or rest Mohamed Salah, they can either turn to Harvey Elliott, who is mostly seen as a central midfielder, or play someone out of position. There is a realistic option that emerges in this context. Watford's Ismaila Sarr, who infamously smashed the Reds at Vicarage Road in February 2020 and scored twice in a 3-0 win that ended the league leaders' odds of being undefeated. Liverpool nearly signed Sarr that year, and it was almost done. However, after last-minute complications, the Reds were unable to meet Watford's demands for £33.7 million and were forced to suspend the transfer. Now, however, Sarr only appears to be available for a discounted fee of £25 million. At least that was the price Aston Villa agreed with the Hornets before the transfer collapsed. If Liverpool want to take the player without any hassle, they must act quickly as Newcastle's interest in João Pedro could make this transfer difficult. Watford may not want to lose both of their players. Sarr might be worried because he's too good to play again in the second tier. He was directly involved in 16 goals, with 10 goals and 6 assists in 50 senior appearances for Watford. Considering that the team finished in 19th place and only scored 34 goals, this performance really deserves praise. Also, the star player showed his quality on the international stage with the Senegal Nili team, returning from injury to score in the quarter-finals against Equatorial Guinea and establishing Mane in the semi-finals against Burkina Faso. A £25 million fee should be seen as a bargain for a player who is only 24 years old and good enough to be a long-term Salah successor if he fulfills his full potential. This player will most likely need to be hired at some point in the next 3 years, and this is perhaps the first opportunity. We already know that almost from his transfer in 2020, he was considered a Jürgen Klopp player. It would also come with Mane's seal of approval. There's no Mane on the left to help Robertson anymore, but perhaps Sarr can be the man to help solve the under-the-radar depth issue looming on the Liverpool front.